Hello and welcome to Let's Grow a Business, y'all. I am MaryKay. Hey, I am the founder of Convert More Consulting, and we believe that your business is more than just a venture. It is your legacy, and we are here to empower you with the tools, the training, and the support to scale your business so you can live an abundant life. So let's get started on today's micro training. And in today's episode, we are going to be discussing how to systematize your sales so that you can convert more of your leads into customers. And you know what? That's what it's all about. So this graphic is something that we pulled together, oh my goodness, probably 12 or 15 years ago to really demonstrate how a business moves itself forward, how it grows. What are the gears at work here? And we have defined 4 primary conversion wheels that absolutely every business has. It doesn't matter if the business is large or small. Every single business runs off of minimally these 4 wheels. And the first to the left is we have to identify our target market. We have to go where they are. We have to attract their attention and we have to get them to look at us. That is the very first wheel. The second is we then need to convert those lookers into leads. We need to get them into our database where we can help them feel nice and warm and snuggy with us and move forward to converting those leads into buyers. Now, you may notice, and I hope you have noticed, that third wheel, while it's the third wheel in the sequence, is actually the largest wheel. And the reason for that is because, as you might have guessed, it is the most important wheel. Because if that wheel is not in place, nothing else moves. And then the last wheel of our 4 is we want to convert those buyers into repeat buyers. And the reason why this piece is so important is because this is when your business can really begin to generate profit. So those are our 4 primary conversion wheels. And today we are going to do a micro training on conversion wheel number 3. So let's get started. And what we are going to share with you today is all about a sales funnel. And we hear that word thrown around a lot, a funnel, sales funnel, marketing funnel. It means different things to different people. But really at the end of the day, what a sales funnel is, it is effectively a conversation. It is a conversation that you are having with someone in your audience or with many, depending upon how it's been set up. And we'll get into that in just a second. And it is a way to progress your relationship with this person forward so that they can ultimately become a client or customer. And these conversations, they can be long or short. They might be multi-step. They might be direct. They might be purposeful, random in some cases. And they can be either managed by a sales team or driven by a human being who is managing and moving someone through the steps and through the process. And typically we will call that a pipeline. Many of you have probably heard of that word, pipeline. Or a sales funnel can be automated. And you can see on the left, a sales funnel contains 4 parts. And so let's get into part number 1. The very top of the funnel is everything that you do to create awareness, Now, awareness is a fascinating step here because there's actually 4 levels of awareness. There's only 2 of those levels that you create. So the first is what we call problem aware. And problem aware is kind of like what it sounds like. I have an awareness, a consciousness that I have a particular problem. And one of the things I learned many years ago in a training that has just stuck with me because it was like, oh, wow, that's so simple and so important, which is this idea that every single business exists for one purpose, and that's to solve a problem. Because if there is no problem, there's no impetus to buy a solution, right? So the problem is paramount. So if I don't know I have a problem, then I am not seeking a solution for it. Even if I actually have the problem, unless I'm aware of it, I'm not going to seek a solution. So problem aware. I will tell you that problem aware is mostly out of your control, and a great recipe for heartbreak and just plain broke is trying to launch a product, program, or service and educate someone that they have the problem that you solve. It's a disaster. The second step on there is solution aware. And this is when someone knows they have the problem, and they also have an awareness that, gosh golly, there's got to be a solution to this. I need to fix this, and surely somebody's got a way, a method, a widget, a gadget in order for me to be able to do that. So they are thinking in lines of a solution. This is the point at which people hit those fingers or hit those thumbs into consulting the Googles to find out who can solve my problem, who has the solution. This is where you come in. The third step then, of course, is become brand aware. And that is that they are aware of you as someone who may have the solution to the problem. And this comes into play with all of your marketing that is around the various locations on the interwebs. You may be watching this on YouTube. You may be watching this from our website. You may be on LinkedIn. You could be any number of places where we've posted this, but you are now becoming brand aware because we've distributed content through these locations. The last step for awareness is offer aware. And that is, I'm aware of you as a brand, and I also know that you actually have a specific solution for my problem. Now we are having some fun. So offer aware is that point at which you begin to move them into your sales pipeline or your sales funnel, depending upon what you have. So the purpose of all your marketing content, as we said, both long form and short form, is to make a solution aware prospect aware of your brand and your offer. It's that simple. Now we get into the middle of the funnel. This is where they're engaged. And so we got to take them from aware to engaged. Back on our schema of the 4 gears, this is where we turn a looker into a lead. They come into our database. So that requires that prospect, that looker, to take a meaningful action. And in most cases in our businesses, that is going to be to fill out a form with your first name and your email address. So if that sales funnel happens to be automated, and sometimes also for a pipeline, that is, as I said, an opt-in. The next step that we're going to take, and this is where things look a little bit different between an automated funnel and a salesperson-driven pipeline. The next thing we want to do is qualify. Well, what the heck does qualify mean? Basically, qualification in its simplest terms is that we have determined through some method that the person we are talking to, whether that is direct on, say, a Zoom sales call or a phone-based sales call, or whether or not we're reading data through an automated system, but that person has signaled to us that they are ready, willing, and able to make the purchase, that they are ready, willing, and able to make the decision to buy. In an automated sales funnel, that is typically going to happen through data. And this is where our systems play so importantly into our results. And that's where your CRM systems. We partner with both Keep and HubSpot, but we work with many other, in fact, almost all systems we have worked with at some time or another. And the system that is right for you on this level is very much dependent upon the type of business that you have and the type of funnel that you're running. Now, the last part of this is when things get fun or a little scary, depending upon how you look at it. But we will need to, through this process, we are going to need to present the offer and close. And close is another word for convert, another word for exchange the value that you are going to be able to deliver through your product or service for money in the form usually of 16 digits, right? So how do we close an offer? There's a number of key pieces that you want to bear in mind. One is expectations. How does your audience, how does your prospect, your target market typically receive a sales pitch? Is it one-on-one in a sales call? Is that typical for your industry and the folks that you serve? If so, then you will in most cases want to stick with that. But if it's done differently, you're going to want to align with how that process is done. Price point is going to dictate how you are going to present and close the offer. The higher the price, typically the more perceived value you must create ahead of actually making the offer. So complex offers, highly customized offers, again, those are going to lend themselves more to being managed one-on-one. Things that are lower price point and fairly general, the solution is provided in a very general global way. Those can be handled in a more automated way. This is related to the relationship between the third wheel and the fourth wheel. So this is the offer's position in the customer journey. So a first step offer, in other words, this is the very first thing that someone has ever purchased from you, that will usually take a little bit more of a lift than if they are a repeat buyer, right? Because they've already had a good experience. That's why they're coming back for more, because they've had a good experience. Usually when we're bringing someone through for the very first time, they don't have that to lean into. And so we're going to have to build the structures that create what we call KLT factor, which is know, like, and trust. And then there's the issue of complexity. And again, I go back to, if your product or program is or needs to be very customized, then that is going to be an individually driven and managed sales pipeline. What I want to stress here, though, is that even if you don't automate your sales, even if each step in your process is managed by either you personally or a sales team, the most important thing is that you have a process. You have documented the process. You know where your points of friction are so that you can provide a little extra love in those areas. And you know the ancillary support materials that are going to really help you build that KLT factor so that it makes that hill to the offer level out just a bit. So there's so many different ways that we can present an offer, and these are just a handful. One of our favorites for an automated opportunity, but it also works for as one of the steps in a salesperson-driven sales pipeline, is going to be the webinar or the masterclass. They can be set up as on demand. They can be set up as scheduled live. So you might run something every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Or they can even just be scheduled maybe once or twice a year. Larger launches do it that way. But it is a very high value way for you to engage with an audience, particularly if it's going to be their first purchase with you. So here we have that schema again, and here's the level of importance of our leads into buyers. So as noted previously, the automated funnel does systematize this conversation so you can communicate one to many. This is where we interact quite a lot with our clients. This is what many clients come to Convert More to help them do. They are solid stage one businesses, and they are ready to get the leverage that an automated sales funnel can provide to them. And so they turn to us to help them develop that automated sales funnel. But you're not ready for an automated sales funnel until you've proven your sales funnel through the manual, through the one-on-one, engaging with your prospects in that environment, so you really have clarity of exactly what your system is, what you're selling, what works. Then it can be turned into an automated process that can really turn up the volume, bring you that leverage so you can grow faster and scale. So I've loved sharing this micro training with you today. Please feel free to leave a comment. Again, I'm MaryKay. Hey, founder of Convert More Consulting, and we'll see you next time.